पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ब्रह्ममुरारिसुरार्चितलिङ्गं निर्मलभासित शोभितलिङ्गम् जन्मजदुःखविनाशकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः।
ॐ नमः शिवाय हर ॐ नमः शिवाय।
देवमुनिप्रवरार्चितलिङ्गं कामदहं करुणाकरलिङ्गम् रावणदर्पविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः।
ॐ नमः शिवाय हर ॐ नमः शिवाय।
सर्वसुगन्धिसुलेपितलिङ्गं बुद्धिविवर्धनकारणलिङ्गम् सिद्धसुरासुरवन्दितलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः।
ॐ नमः शिवाय हर ॐ नमः शिवाय।
कनकमहामणिभूषितलिङ्गं पाणिपतिवेष्टित शोभितलिङ्गम् दक्षसूयज्ञविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः।
ॐ नमः शिवाय हर ॐ नमः शिवाय।
चन्दनलेपितलिङ्गं पङ्कजहार सुशोभितलिङ्गम् सञ्चितपापविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ हर ॐ नमः शिवाय
देवगणार्चितसेवितलिङ्गं भावैर्भक्तिभिरेव च लिङ्गम् दिनकरकोटिप्रभाकरलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ हर ॐ नमः शिवाय
अष्टदलोपरिवेष्टितलिङ्गं सर्वसमुद्भवकारणलिङ्गम् अष्टदरिद्रविनाशकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ हर ॐ नमः शिवाय
सुरगुरुसुरवरपूजितलिङ्गं सुरवनपुष्पसदार्चितलिङ्गम् परात्परं परमात्मकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः
ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ हर ॐ नमः शिवाय
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः लिङ्गाष्टकम् इदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते
Shri Sai Ram. We welcome you all to the concluding session of this subject, that is Lingashtakam, knowledge sharing by Brother Siddharth Kasturi Rangan. Without taking much time, and I hand over the session to Brother Siddharth. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Sabish.
Sai Ram.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Wonderful. Om Shri Sai Ram. Very loving salutations to all of you. So we meet again today and let us continue the story from where we had left it yesterday. We were talking about the Lingashtakam and we had completed looking at 4 stanzas. So what did we learn yesterday? A few of the lessons are listed here that the Bhagavan or the Parameshwara in the pure form, in the pristine form, in the form of a Spatikalinga, and other forms of Ishvara, how Ishvara is compassionate, how he is having complete equanimity, not disturbed by the ups and downs of the world. How beautiful is the form of Ishvara, both in the form of a Linga and in the Sakara or physical form. We had a look at many of these things, besides a lot of other things, which we will talk about later. So, let us start today with a small story about the omnipresence of Bhagavan. Once Sant Namdev, a very great and renowned saint, many of you might have heard his name or would have heard his name. Sant Namdev once visited Sant Jnaneshwar, and in the course of discussion, Namdev said, now I have reached Pandharpuri, I will stay there only. I will not go anywhere else because my Lord Panduranga Vittala lives in Pandharpuri. So Jnaneshwara wanted to teach Namdev, Sant Namdev, a lesson that God is omnipresent. And so Sant Jnaneshwar asked Sant Namdev, before you finally take your decision to remain in Pandharpur and go nowhere else, I want you to visit a disciple of mine who lives in this village. He gave the name of the village. Very reluctantly, Sant Namdev made his way there and he asked someone, where does Visoba Khechar was the name of Sant Jnaneshwar's disciple. Where does Visoba Khechar live? So someone finally directed him that to go to the Shiva temple, and Visoba is always to be found in the Shiva temple only. So Sant Namdev made his way to the Shiva temple, and when he entered the Shiva temple, what did he find? He found that an old man is lying down nicely with his feet resting on top of the Shivalingam. In the sanctum sanctorum of the temple, a Shivalingam was there, and this man was keeping his feet on the Shivalingam and lying down. Like anyone, Sant Namdev reacted immediately. He went and scolded the man. He said, what is this? Why you are showing this kind of disrespect to the Lord? How can you sleep with your feet on the Shivalinga? Do you not realize what kind of papa you are doing? Visoba, who was the old man, he politely told Namdev, he said, I am very old, I am very weak. So, you only please lift my feet and you keep it somewhere else. Normally, no one will comply with such a request because touching someone's feet is considered to be not a good omen unless as a token of respect. However, the situation was such that Namdev were forced to pick up Visoba's feet and place it somewhere nearby. As soon as Sant Namdev had placed Visoba's feet at another spot, immediately from the ground there emerged another Shivalingam to support Visoba's feet. Once again Sant Namdev tried, he picked up the feet, kept it somewhere else. Again one Shivalingam came out from the ground. Lord is omnipresent. There is no place where you can step where God is not there. That was the lesson learnt by Sant Namdev on that occasion. 3 times he lifted Visoba's feet, kept it aside. 3 times a new Shivalingam came out from the ground. Sant Namdev realized that Panduranga Vittala is omnipresent. The Lord is not only present in Pandharpura, he is present everywhere. And that is when Sant Namdev started his lifelong journey of spreading the name of Vittala, not only all over Maharashtra, but he went on and even Sant Namdev, some of the bhajans are found in the Guru Granth Sahib. So he kept moving along the western region of India. Similarly, through other Varkari Panthas, the Abhanga tradition spread throughout the south of India. Now all over India, bhajans and abhangas are sung. And this was all started when Namdev, Sant Namdev realized the omnipresence of the Lord. And this is how Lord Shiva in the form of the Shivalinga showed his Leela to Sant Namdev to make him realize this fact. So with this very nice story and affirmation of the omnipresence of the Lord, let us move further in our discussion of the Lingashtakam. Fifth stanza. Kunkuma chandana lepitalingam pankajahara sushobhitalingam sanchita papa vinashanalingam tat pranamami sada shivalingam. Chandana kunkuma lepitalingam or kunkuma chandana lepitalingam, both the text variations are there. As you see, the beautiful photograph of the Shivalinga after Abhishekam is done, nicely smeared with sandalwood paste with a small tilak or tikka of kungumam. And you can see the splendor of the Lord in this form. Beautiful. A wonderful experience to actually see the Lord in this form. What is the significance? Red is often considered a color of auspiciousness, Mangala Karaka, not only within the Hindu or Indian context, but also in many cultures across the world, it is considered a symbol of something auspicious. This auspicious red color, when you see standing out from the figure of the Shivalinga, it gives great mental peace. This is one of the important things. Another beautiful thing, Pankajahara Sushobhita Lingam. You can picturize the Lord having a garland of lotus flowers with the Chandana and Kunkumam applied. Beautiful darshanam of the Lord. The lotus flower is very special. You will always see all gods, goddesses, they will have a lotus flower in the hand. What is special about the lotus flower? The lotus flower has a very special property. It will grow in a place where no other flowers or no other plants will grow. In swampy land, marshy land, where it is not hospitable for growth of any other plant, the lotus flower will always bloom there. In the middle of the mud and lot of dirt, you will see this beautiful flower. This beautiful flower teaches us the lesson that we also have to be like that, irrespective of our surroundings. Sthita prajnata, completely untouched, untarnished by our surroundings. We have to maintain ourselves like that. This is the lesson which we learn from the lotus flower. Another lesson is detachment. Whenever you put a water droplet on the lotus leaf, it will roll away. Water, when you put it on an ordinary surface, water will get absorbed, or whenever it rolls or flows, it will leave a trail of water behind it. This does not happen with the lotus leaf. These are the beautiful lessons which we learn from nature. The Lord has created all of nature, and we have to learn these lessons from nature. Third line, Sanchita Papa Vinashana Lingam. Whenever we go through the cycle of birth and death and rebirth and death and rebirth again, and so on and so forth, we keep accumulating karma. Karma is a very nice word in Sanskrita. Its literal meaning is action. What it means in this context, in the philosophical context, as it is dealt in wealth of detail in the Bhagavad Gita, it means the consequence of our past actions. Whatever we do, whenever we do, always there will be a consequence of that, because every action changes or modifies the overall vibration of the universe in some way. And that vibration is always, that disturbance in the vibration will always come back to us eventually. This is the idea in the law of karma. Karma is a principle which is also very sacred and very highly regarded in the Buddhist religion and many other religions, which are Janya religions or which have originated from the Hindu or Sanatana Dharma. And karma holds a very central place in all these philosophies. However, the name of the Lord is sufficient to destroy or eliminate the influence of this karma. There is a very beautiful story to illustrate this. This is a story of Narayana, Lord Narayana, but it illustrates this point very beautifully. Once, Muni Sri Narada had gone to visit Lord Narayana. At that time, Lord Narada asked, Muni Narada asked Lord Narayana, Bhagavan, tell me the secret of your Leela, how your Mahima is propagating through the universe. So Narayana said, Narada, if you want to see the glory of my name, you go to, he told him, Muni Narada asked Lord Narayana, Bhagavan, tell me the secret of your Leela. Thank you. Yes. So,
sorry, brother, you can continue. Sorry.
Yeah, it someone got unmuted by mistake. Yeah, I'll continue. Yeah. He said, Lord Narayana said, Narada, you go to so and so place. He told a place. There, a small caterpillar has just been born. You go and tell my name in front of that caterpillar. So Narada goes, okay, Bhagavan has said, let me go. There he goes and finds that caterpillar, just as Lord Vishnu had said. And there he utters the name of the Lord, Narayana, Narayana. And what happens? Immediately that caterpillar, poor thing, which was eating that leaf, suddenly it falls dead on the ground. Lost its life, suddenly. So Narada comes back to Lord Narayana very agitated. He says, Bhagavan, I'll tell you what happened. Lord Vishnu says, I know what happened. Now you go, there is a cow which has given birth to a calf. It is in so and so place. Go there and tell my name. So Narada says, okay, Bhagavan has said, I will go. So again he goes, he finds exactly as the Lord had told him, a small calf is born. Immediately he says, as the Lord has instructed, Narayana, Narayana. Immediately what happens? That calf also dies. Then and there, it falls down dead. Narada gets very scared. What is happening? Is something wrong with me? That I am saying the name of the Lord, it should flourish. Instead of that, it is dying. He comes back to Lord Narayana, much more agitated than before. He says, Bhagavan, please, something is wrong with me. Lord Vishnu stops in mid-sentence. He says, Narada, don't worry. It is all my Leela. Now you go to so-and-so kingdom. In that kingdom, the queen has given birth to a royal prince. You go there, in the naming ceremony, they will receive you very well. You please go there and tell my name. Utter my name, chant my name in front of that child. Narada immediately refuses. He says, Bhagavan, please do not ask me to do this. I don't want the death of a royal child at my hands. So Bhagavan says, Narada, please trust in me. You go and do as I say. So since the Lord has given the assurance, immediately Narada sets forth. He reaches that kingdom. The king is very, very happy that when the prince is born, Muni Narada himself has come to bless. And so he is invited, received very warmly with all the accolades, etc. And he is brought before the young prince, the baby. And very, very haltingly, in a very, very careful manner, Narada goes and whispers in the child's ear, Narayana, Narayana. Softly, because he does not want again some kind of something bad happens. He does not want anyone to have a wrong impression. And surprise of surprises, that small child just born, newborn child, normally the newborn child cannot even move the lips properly. This child starts speaking. It says, Munivara, thank you so much. Narada and the whole court, everyone is very surprised. Narada asks, my child, why are you thanking me? So the child says, Munivara, just yesterday I was born as a caterpillar. You uttered the Lord's name in front of me. That Janma and several more Janmas were all completely eliminated, and directly I was born as a child of a cow. And once again you came and again you told me the name of Narayana, and again I came out from that body, and again I bypassed several Janmas, and today I am born as a man. You have given me the gift of Manushya Janma. And that is all the glory of the name of Lord Narayana. That is what the small baby infant, 13 days old infant tells Muni Narada. That, brothers and sisters, is the glory of the name of the Lord. Just the name is enough. Koti Janma Papam, everything will be eliminated. That is the meaning, Sanchita Papa Vinashana Lingam. What Papa is eliminated? Is it Papa what I have done yesterday, what I have done over the last week, last month? No. Crores of Janmas which you have taken ever since we had animal birth till human birth, whatever Papas have been done, everything is eliminated. That is the glory of the Lord. Our Swami Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba used to say, he used to always give this formula. Daiva Priti, Papa Bhiti, Sanganiti. Daiva Priti. Always do actions which will please the Lord. This does not mean do Abhishekam, do Puja, show Arati. If you are doing this, very good. But at the same time, God is pleased when man is pleased. Madhava Seva, Madhava Seva. That is the principle which Bhagavan used to expound at all times, and that has been the pillar of Bhagavan's work in this Janma as or in this Avatara as Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Papa Bhiti. Papa Bhiti is very important. Normally, if we know that we are doing something wrong, then a signal comes from within. But what we do? We look both the sides, no one is watching, okay, go ahead and do it. Because no one is watching. We don't realize that there is someone watching, two people. One is we ourselves. Second is Ishvara, who is seated in your heart, is always watching all these things. And we are completely, oh, no one is watching, okay, but Bhagavan is watching all the time. When once I attended a lecture or a function, in which our former education minister of Maharashtra, Shri Vinod Tavde, he had given a speech. He made a statement which made an impression on me. He defined the word governance. Governance is a common word nowadays. It is used in the context of, in the corporate world, in government circles, everywhere this word is used, governance. How he defined governance is the process by which we should behave when no one is watching, as we would behave when someone is watching. That is, even if no one is watching, you have to do the same thing which you would have done if everybody was watching. Next time, whenever you get an inner signal, oh, maybe I should not do this, try to imagine that 100 people are watching you and then see whether you go ahead and do that thing or not. Guarantee is you will not do it. So, this realization that the Papa, the incorrect action is wrong, this realization always comes from within. We are the ones who suppress it. Try to eliminate this tendency of suppressing this voice of conscience which arises from within. Automatically, all the Papas will stop. Not only Papa, Papa is a very big word. Papa means a very cruel or evil action. But even any kind of minor incorrect actions, telling white lies, for example. Oh, I was busy. You are not busy. You are doing something else. You forgot. But then you will say, I was busy. White lie. Why? You can be as honest with the other person as you are with yourself. I forgot. It will lift a great weight off your heart that, okay, I didn't lie. Whenever you are tempted to lie, always think of the fruit of that. If you tell the truth, you will feel good. And you don't have to remember that lie, because every time you lie, you have to remember that lie and you have to tell everyone consistently the same story. Ultimately, sometime you get caught. So these are the kind of things where the voice of conscience always tells us what to do, and we always reject that advice. Please, we should avoid this. Sanganiti. Always try to have harmony with everyone. This is the ideal which the Lingashtakam teaches us. Moving further, next stanza. Devaganarchita sevita lingam bhavair bhakti bhireva chalingam dinakara koti prabhakara lingam tat pranamami sada shivalingam. In the picture, you are seeing Sri Lalita Tripura Sundari, the goddess who is the Parashakti, the cosmic energy incarnated into a divine form. Why I have had this picture here? Deva Ganarchita Sevita Lingam. In the Brahmanda Purana, there is a story of how Lalita Tripura Sundari decided to have the Sahasranamam written for her. Lalita Sahasranamam. Actually, in the Purva Bhagam of the Lalita Sahasranamam, there is a Agastya Hayagriva Samvadam, a conversation between Lord Vishnu in the horse-faced form or Hayagriva form and Muni Agastya. In that, Hayagriva tells Agastya that when Devi wanted her Sahasranamam written, at that time an invitation was issued. Whoever wants to come and help in the writing of the Sahasranamam. Sahasranamam means 1,000 names. Whoever wants to help can please come. Immediately it is described in that Purva Bhaga of Sri Lalita Sahasranamam. Sevarthamagatas-tatra brahmani brahmakotayah gauriko Lakshmi Narayananancha kotayas samupagatah gauri koti sametanam rudranamapi kotayah shaktayah vividhakara tasam sankhyana vidyate. As soon as it was heard that Lalita Mahatripura Sundari is having the Sahasranama written and she has invited everyone to come and help, immediately crores of the Ganas of Brahma and Saraswati asked the leave of their masters and left to the place where Lalita Tripura Sundari was sitting. Similarly, from Lakshmi and Narayana's Ganas also, crores of them simply left from them and came here. Crores of the Ganas of Gauri and Samba Paramashiva, everyone came and converged at that one location. And Shaktayah Vividhakaraha, different powers of the universe, everyone converged at that place. Tasam Sankhya na vidyate. The total number is not even known. That many people came there just to write 1,000 names of Sri Lalita Devi. That is the kind of Seva Bhava which is inspired by Bhagavan. Bhagavan Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. He has thousands of hands. He can get anything done through those hands. This is exemplified here when you see that number of hands which he has is not even countable, countless. That is the Akarshana Shakti, the attractiveness of the Lord. In this case, Sri Lalita Mahatripura Sundari, this is the attractiveness that all the Devaganas converged at that one place because Sevartham, because they were given an opportunity for Seva. And this Seva is not just like that. Second part of the line, Bhavair Bhakti Bhirevacha Lingam. That means this Seva is not done because they are forced to do it. They are doing it with bhava, devotion, and bhakti, dedication. So dedicated, devoted manner, the seva is constantly being done to Bhagavan. There is a very nice book in Tamil, a novel written by Jayakantan, which is Jaya Jaya Shankara. In that, he mentions in the opening paragraph, the pujari of a very old town or a village is reminiscing that so many years ago, this village was so different. It was bustling with activity. Now everyone has migrated to the city. But only one thing has not changed. In the Shiva temple, still every day, Bhagavan gets his Abhishekam, Bhagavan gets his the Naivedyam. That does not stop. If Bhagavan wants something to happen, it will happen, come what may. The earth may turn upside down, but if Bhagavan's will is there for something, that will happen. This will is supported by the actions of those who are willing to do the seva, and such willing hands will always be found for Bhagavan's work. So when we are doing Janaseva, when we are doing service to mankind, it is the greatest spiritual sadhana which we can do. What is the aim of seva? What is the aim of service? It is not self-glorification. It is not that, oh, I went to so and so place, I served so many people. No. I did not go. Bhagavan sent me. Bhagavan gave me the opportunity to serve in his divine mission because he could easily have found any other pair of hands other than mine. He gave me this opportunity because he wants me to develop myself spiritually. I went and distributed 100 food packets. The question to ask is not how many food packets you distributed. The question to ask is, for every food packet you distributed, was there a smile on your face? Did you do the seva in a loving, caring manner as you would do to a close relative, as you would do to your mother, to your father? Then and then only it is seva. Otherwise, it is only some kind of ego satisfaction. This is the lesson. We have to do seva with bhava, with bhakti. When we say Manava Seva is Madhava Seva, we have to really visualize Madhava, the great Gopala, Shri Krishna in everyone, and do seva. If it was Lord Krishna standing in front of you, how would you have reacted? That should be the reaction when you are doing seva to a poor person, an old person, a disabled person. Then and then, the spiritual sadhana part of the seva is fulfilled. This is something which we have to remember. When you serve someone in the name of God, serve that person as God. This is the lesson which the Lingashtakam is teaching us. Dinakara Koti Prabhakara Lingam. Now you will wonder suddenly, where did the photograph of Ganapati come from? So again, there is a very nice story, an incident from the Charitram of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Once, Swami Amritananda of the Ramanashrama, he had come for the darshan of Bhagavan Baba. So after the darshan was over, when Bhagavan was going back, he called Swami Amritananda to come approach him, and he took him to a corner of, means he took him inside the Prashanti Mandir premises. And then Bhagavan asked lovingly to Swami Amritananda, do you remember when you were a small boy, you had done one homam? So Swami Amritananda said, yes, Bhagavan, I was 7 years old and I had done a Ganapati homam for 21 days. Imagine that a small 7-year-old child does a homam continuously for 21 days. And in that Ganapati homam, they are supposed to put coconuts, 1008 coconuts over the course of these 21 days. This small 7-year-old child had done that as part of his ritual activities. He had done that. Then Bhagavan asked, very nice, you remember, very nice. Do you know in the Shastras what is written as the correct phala for this kind of homa which you have done? Swami Amritananda said, yes, Bhagavan, I know. Bhagavan Ganapati, Lord Sri Ganapati will give darshanam in the Koti Surya Samaprabha form. That is, in the form which is effulgent as a crores of suns. That brilliant a form will give darshanam. So Bhagavan then lovingly asked, Did you get that darshanam after doing that 21 days homa? So Swami Amrutananda replied, no, Bhagavan, I did the homa maybe because I was a small child and maybe I did not do with proper ritual procedure or proper shraddha. I was very small at that time. That is why maybe I did not get the darshanam. Bhagavan said, no, small child, big child, all these things don't matter. You have done the karma, you have to get the phala. Saying that, Bhagavan himself assumed the form of the Koti Surya Samaprabha Ganapati and gave darshanam to Swami Amrutananda then and there. Swami Amrutananda was so ecstatic, so joyful, and it was such a draining experience for him after that many years after doing the homa to get the darshana of Sri Mahaganapati, that it is said that for the next 3 days, Amrutananda could not even get up and walk properly. He was just confined to his room. He was that much in that ananda, reveling in that bliss, because Ganapati blessing with such effulgence right in front of you. What else do you want in life? So this beautiful experience of Swami Amrutananda with Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, Dinakara Koti, Dinakara means sun, Koti, crores. One who is as brilliant of crores of suns. In front of that God, every day we show one deepam. What is the significance of that deepam? In Sanskrit, there is a very nice subhashita. Vritha vrishti samudreshu, vritha truptasya bhojanam, vritha danam samarthasya, vritha deepo divapicha. A few drops of water, what are they compared to the mighty ocean? Nothing. The ocean is not perturbed by adding a few drops of water. It is a waste. That is what the Subhashita says. I am not saying that. But a few drops of water are nothing compared to the great ocean. For one who is fully satisfied, who has eaten to the heart's content, putting additional food in front of them is of no use. Giving a few coins to one who is rich beyond measure, again, is a futile thing. And lighting a lamp during broad daylight is again futile. Similarly, our small insignificant actions in Bhagavan's count are actually futile. Why he allows us to do those actions is for our own benefit, not for his glorification. Bhagavan is already infinite. Bhagavan is already omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. The reason he gives us the opportunity for seva is because he wants us to uplift ourselves. Avadhataram, avadhataram. These words are coming in Mahaganapati Atharva Shirsham. Avadhataram. Please protect the one who is giving. Avadhataram. Data and dhata. These are two different words in Sanskrit. Data means the giver. Dhata means the uplifter, a much greater role. Bhagavan is the vidhata, the supreme uplifter of everyone. For our upliftment, he gives us these opportunities. We have to make use of this. Moving further, next stanza, 7th stanza. Ashtadalo pariveshtita lingam Sarvasamudbhava Karanalingam Ashtadaridra Vinashanalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam. Very beautiful. Ashtadala Upariveshtita Lingam. The Shivalingam, which is decorated by the Ashtadala, the 8-petaled lotus, Upari, at the tip. So you can see the picture. This is of the Sri Satya Sai Lingam in Puttaparthi. But how beautiful the vision of the Lord with the lotus flower blooming at the top. What is this a symbol of? What does it signify? Let us try to understand this. I would like all of you to do a practical exercise along with me. I hope all of you can see my video. You can hold your hand like this. You can hold both your hands like this. You can place the thumb of one hand on your throat and place the little finger, the bottom finger of the other hand at your navel and sit straight. You will find that your fingers will meet at one particular point at the hridaya, at the heart. Why did I make you do this? You can try it yourself. Take both the hands, put the thumb of one at your throat and put the little finger of the other hand at your navel. Sit straight and your fingers will meet at one point, more or less at one point, at the hridaya. Why did we do this? In the Narayana Suktam, a beautiful verse is there. Adho nishtya vitastyam te nabhyamuparitishthati jwalamala kulam bhati vishwasyayatanam mahat. What is the meaning of this? Adho nishtya. Nishti means throat in Sanskrit. Vitasti ante. Vitasti means this much distance. Thumb to little finger distance like this. So below the throat at one vitasti distance, nabhyam upari, above the nabhi, above the navel at the same distance, where they meet at that point, what is there? Jwalamala kulambhati, surrounded by a great fire, Vishwasya ayatanam mahat, the great, most supreme principle of the entire universe. So Narayana Suktam actually tells you where the Atma is residing inside the body. It is right here. Where we say, no, mera man, mera dil, what we say in Hindi, that is the place where the Atman is present. And in the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is given that when the Atman ascends to heaven, what happens? Bhurityagnav pratitishthati bhuva iti vayo suvarityadit maha iti brahmani. When the physical body is destroyed and the Atman is freed, part of it goes away with the Agni. Bhu, it says Bhu and goes with the Agni. Part of it flies away in the Vayu. Part of it goes and merges with the sun. And the remaining part, if the soul is sufficiently evolved, it emerges from the Sahasrara, the lotus chakra which is there at the tip of the head, emerges out and merges with the Supreme. That is the significance whenever you see a Shivalinga decorated with a lotus flower at the top. It is an inspiration to all of us. Purify yourself. Always dedicate yourself to good deeds, and gradually your soul will be freed from the permanent cycle of birth and death, and it will merge with the Supreme. This lotus flower is a reminder of the merger with the Supreme, which is the supreme aim of all life. Ashtadala upariveshtita lingam, sarva samudbhava karana lingam. That Shivalingam which is responsible for the samudbhava, samyag udbhava means the generation of everything. Everything is emerging or being generated because of that Shiva Tattva, that Brahma Tattva. When we write the English word God, G-O-D, what does it signify? G, generation, to generate new life. O, ordination or ordering of life, sustaining life in a correct manner. And D, dissolution. These are the three letters, G-O-D. Generation, the principle of Brahma, the creator. Ordination, the principle of Vishnu, the preserver. And dissolution, the function of Lord Shiva. However, here we are saying that all the three are done by one supreme God only. You call that God Brahma, you call Shiva, you call Vishnu, it doesn't matter. All three are one. So, when God creates this universe, or God created this universe, if you see nature all around you, green trees, rivers flowing, waterfalls, mountains capped with snow, the sunrise, the sunset, clouds, rain, all of this, everything in nature, you can find not a single flaw. Everything is perfect. What leads to this perfection in the creation of God, which is not there in the creation of man? When we make something, okay, it is nice, it is beautiful, but somehow it doesn't have the same. We say, no, ye natural nahi lag raha hai. It is not looking natural. What is this natural? By nature is beautiful, and man-made things try to aspire towards that, always, but very rarely reaching that level of perfection. That is because how Ishvara created the universe. Again, it is given in the Brahmananda Valli of the Taittiriya Upanishad. Asadva idamagra asit tato vai sadajayata tadatmanaggasvayamakuruta tasmat tat sukrutamuchyata iti. What the verse says is the following, that first there was nothing. Asadva idam agra asit. In the beginning, all this was asad, not there. Tato vai sadajayata. Then it was created. Tad atmanam swayam akuruta. It was made by God himself. Nowadays, there is a very popular trend. People say custom made. You can buy something which is cheap, which is mass produced in a factory, or you can ask that person to make specifically for you, and that will cost more money. Custom made. In nature, everything is custom made by God himself, sitting and working. That is how God created painstakingly. Every leaf, every flower, every drop of water, everything handmade, handcrafted by God. Tasmat tat sukrutam uchyata iti. That is why it is sukrutam, well made. The reason for the quality of nature is because God has paid personal attention to each and every minute detail. Something not possible for man, but God has done it. That is the perfection we have to inculcate in our lives. That is the lesson which Bhagavan is teaching us. I have made all this. Study it, observe it, try to do it in your own life. That is the lesson. Perfection. Bhagavan does not say, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba used to say, 99% people say it is very good marks, but 99% is also fail. Nothing less than 100% will serve. That is the idea of Ishvara. When Ishvara creates the universe, he does not make a 99% correct universe or 99% beautiful universe. It is always 100% perfect. Furthermore, in the same line, two more sentences are told. Yadvai tat sukrutam raso vai saha. It is said, Yadvai tat sukrutam. Even if nature is perfect, but raso vai saha. He is the essence. When Bhagavan made the entire universe, he did not stop when everything was perfect. Now everything is perfect. Now we'll take rest. No. He broke himself into a million different tiny sparks. And each of these sparks went and sat in each and every atom of the universe. That is the spark of divinity which is there within us also. And why Ishvara put those sparks there? Because things should continue to remain perfect. That inner spark keeps giving us signals how to be perfect. We keep ignoring that. The Lingashtakam just tells us the lesson that do not ignore that inner voice. That inner voice is God. That is the one you have to listen to. Ashtadaritra Vinashana Lingam. That Shiva Lingam, which is destroying 8 types of poverty. What is these 8 types of poverty? It is told that there are Ashta Lakshmis, 8 Lakshmis, 8 forms of the goddess of wealth. Adi Lakshmi, Lakshmi in the form of a goddess blessing us. Dhana Lakshmi, Lakshmi in the form of wealth, material wealth, money. Dhanya Lakshmi, Lakshmi in the form of good food grains for us to eat, abundance of food. Saubhagya Lakshmi, Lakshmi in the form of smiling good fortune. Santana Lakshmi, Lakshmi in the form of progeny, children, a future generation to whom we can pass over or pass on the world as we have experienced it. Santana Lakshmi, Virya Lakshmi, Lakshmi in the form of vigor for doing work. Dhairya Lakshmi, Lakshmi in the form of self-control for using that vigor in a correct manner. And Vara Lakshmi, Lakshmi who is blessing us with abundance of all these things. I have stated the names of 8 different aspects of Goddess Lakshmi. Of course, the list of Ashtalakshmis varies depending on the source which you consult. Additionally, people talk about Aishwarya Lakshmi, Vijaya Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi. So all these aspects of Lakshmi basically cover whatever we need for a peaceful, contented, calm life. All those aspects, let those aspects be blessed in your life. That is what the meaning of Ashtalakshmi. Ashtadaritra means lack of all these things, lack of peace of mind, lack of good fortune, lack of material wealth or money, lack of food, not having children. Children means this is not to be taken only in the literal sense. Of course, having a future generation, children, grandchildren is one aspect. But this is also equally applicable in the context, especially in the modern world, in the context of our profession or any other activities which we are involved in. At some stage, age starts catching up and one has to gradually cut down on activities. So whatever positive activities which we have initiated, there should be someone to carry the torch and take it forward. That granting of that by Ishvara is the name given to Santana Lakshmi. So all these 8 types of Lakshmi are granted. Rather, the lack of Lakshmi is eliminated by Ishvara. That is the meaning of Ashtadaridra Vinasha. All the 8 Saubhagyas, all the 8 Lakshmis may it be granted to the one who is doing puja to the Shivalingam. Once again, it is not a question of every day doing Abhishekam and chanting Rudram. One has to implement all these principles in one's life and automatically all these things are guaranteed. That is the correct meaning which we should take from this. Let us move on to the final verse. Suraguru Suravara Pujita Lingam Suravana Pushpa Sadarchita Lingam Paramapadam Paramatmaka Lingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam. Again, a very beautiful verse. Sura Guru, meaning Guru Brihaspati, the perceptor or the teacher of the Devas. Suravara means the supreme among the Devas, that is Indra. Sura Guru Suravara Pujita Lingam, that Shivalingam which is worshipped by Indra, that Shivalingam which is worshipped by Brihaspati. Even the greatest among the great will worship Lord Shiva. Even the smallest of the small will worship Lord Shiva. Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan, all of them are devotees of Shiva, the Shiva Tattva which is pervading the entire universe. The Devas are continuously doing Abhishekam to the Shivalingam. All of nature around us is just witness to all this. Suravana Pushpa Sadarchita Lingam, that Shivalinga which is constantly showered with the flowers falling from heaven. Suravana Pushpa, that those flowers which grow in the forests of Devaloka. A more elaborate meaning can be given to this. Suravana Pushpa is nothing but the flowers showered by Lord Indra from the heavens, namely rain. So the entire of Dharti, the entire of the surface of the earth is a grand Shivalingam. And the rain which is falling on it is the constant Abhishekam which is going on. The entire Brahmanda, to take it further, is symbolic of a Shivalingam. And that is constantly being worshipped by the Devas. Suravana Pushpa Sadarchita Lingam. Paramapadam, that which is at the supreme stage where everyone should aspire to reach. Paramatmaka Lingam, that which is within the soul of everyone, the supreme principle which is seated in the seat of Brahman in the heart of man. To that Shiva Lingam, I offer my salutations. In the photograph which is shown here, it is specifically taken that the Abhishekam is being done to a Shiva Lingam, and that whole scene of Abhishekam itself is contained within a larger Shiva Lingam. That is, everywhere you see, there is only Shiva, 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 Shiva. At this point, I would like to take a few minutes to relate one such experience which I personally had. Once I had the opportunity to go to the village or the town of Shegaon, which is in Maharashtra, which is the sthana where Sri Gajanan Maharaj has the samadhi. Gajanan Maharaj was a saint who took samadhi at that particular place, and there is a samadhi mandir there. So we had the occasion to visit and take darshan of Sri Gajanan Maharaj samadhi and the Rama temple which is built above that. At that time, we came to know that the Guru or Acharya of Sri Gajanan Maharaj, his samadhi is also in a nearby village called Nagazari, which is around 12 to 15 kilometers from Shegaon. So we said we had time, so we said we'll go there also. So myself and one more senior devotee from Nashik, two of us, we went forth. We went to Nagazari, we went to the shrine which was the samadhi of Sri Gomaji Maharaj, Guru of Sri Gajanan Maharaj. When we reached there, you have to climb a certain number of stairs, and there is a Panduranga Vithala Mandir built just above the samadhi. But before you start ascending these stairs, on the side, both of us felt attracted. There was a path going and there were some bushes on both the sides. Both of us felt attracted to go in that direction, so we went there first. When we went there, what we saw was there were a number of small shrines. Inside each of the shrines, in the Sanctum Sanctorum, there was a Shiva Lingam. Every shrine had a Shiva Lingam. The vibrations which we experienced in that place, that Shivalinga Kshetra, were really, I mean, there is no word to describe it, electrifying. We were just standing there, just stunned. We could not move. The kind of electric energy which was passing through us, even now when I recollect it, my hair stands on end. Just that vibration, that Shiva Tattva which was there, definitely continuously there is Abhishekam going on to that Lingam, continuously puja is going on. The concentrated power of that Lingam is something which even I can never describe. It's just an experience which has to be experienced. It cannot be described. That is the electrifying feeling which the Lord can inspire in a kshetra where continuously the puja, the seva is going on. That is the vibration which it instills. I don't know whether I was able to convey the kind of feeling which even now that particular feeling is arising in my heart. I am not sure whether I was able to convey it in a complete sense, but such a Shivalinga Kshetra, that kind of experience you can get when you visit great shrines, Jyotirlingas, other other Shiva shrines where continuous puja is going on. An electrifying experience you will get. Definitely, I feel everyone should experience this by visiting the Tirtha Kshetras where the Shiva puja is done on a regular basis. One more small incident from the life of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Once, a student of the Satya Sai Institute of Higher Education, Higher Learning, he was given darshan by Bhagavan, and Bhagavan then materialized the Shivalinga and gave it to him. Bhagavan said, "Now you do Abhishekam for this Linga every day." The child was very stunned that Bhagavan had given him such a blessing. He said, "Yes, Bhagavan." But in his mind, he was thinking, I don't know what is the vidhi. I don't know what is the method of doing this puja. I don't know anything. So Bhagavan has given such a precious thing. How will I live up to it? This was the thought which was going in that poor boy's mind. After some time, Bhagavan very lovingly came back. Bhagavan said, don't worry. You just chant Shiva, 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 Namah Shivaya and you put water. That is enough. So Bhagavan only gave the instruction for Abhishekam. Bhagavan only said what to do also. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan has said, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachhati tadaham bhaktyupahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Bhagavan says, you offer whatever you do, patram, a leaf, pushpam, a flower, phalam, a fruit, toyam, just water, yo me bhaktya prayachhati. Offer it with bhakti, offer it with shraddha. That is important. The sentiment behind doing the puja is important. The ritual part of the puja is secondary. It is important. It is transmitted in a lineage. It is taught in a particular way. It should be followed, but not at the expense of losing the essence. The essence has to be there. Bhakti, shraddha has to be there. So with these words, I would like to bring to a close this particular session which we have had on the Lingashtakam. But before we do so, let us see what we have learnt from the 8 verses of the Lingashtakam. I have taken one point from each verse, which comes in a logical sequence. But there are so many multiple lessons and multiple tracks of lessons which we can learn from the Lingashtakam, that I would not like to summarize everything again. But what is the path which the Lingashtakam is setting out for us? The first thing is to realize that there is a cycle of life, and this cycle of life, Janma Marana, this is the thing which is creating sorrows in our life. That is Janmaja Dukkha Vinashaka Lingam. Pray to the Lord that let me be liberated from the cycle of life, or at least let me be let the sorrows be eliminated, and we know the way to eliminate the sorrows, not to have desires. To the desires you say na. That is the idea. Then Ravana Darpa Vinashana Lingam. Pray to the Lord to destroy all the 6 enemies which keep coming up in our lives: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, jealousy, anger, desire, covetousness, when we say I want this, that kind of thing. Then jealousy, already I said. Pride, Ravana Darpa means pride in that sentence. So all these things, let our ego be vanquished by the Lord. Whatever will remain will be Shiva Tattva. Then Buddhi Vivardhana Karana Lingam, that Shiva Linga which inspires spiritual wisdom. Concentrate, meditate on the Lord. Let Him inspire within you spiritual wisdom. Use that spiritual wisdom in your life. Implement it. In our Paramacharya, Kanchi Paramacharya, Shri Puja Shri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati, he gave a beautiful song, Maitrim Bhajata Akila Hrid Jaitrim. Maitrim Bhajata, worship the principle of friendship. Akila Hrid Jaitrim, win the hearts of everyone. That is the principle we have to follow. That is real spiritual wisdom. Then Daksha Suyajna Vinashana Lingam. Go from the ritual to the spiritual. That does not mean abandon the rituals completely. That is not the meaning at all. But understand the spiritual sense. Why I am doing this, and only then do. Don't try to rationalize things. Bhagavan is beyond rationalism. Bhagavan is something which has to be experienced. Then Sanchita Papa Vinashana Lingam, that Shiva Linga which will absolve all our past sins, which will purge us of those sins just by taking the Shiva Nama, the Rama Nama, the Govinda Nama. Nama Sankirtanam. Nama Sankirtanam does not mean go sit for the bhajan and sit quietly in the back. No. In our mind continuously, Govindeti sada snanam, Govindeti sada japam should be going on continuously. When the name of the Lord is continuously on your lips, there is less chance that bad words will come on your lips, bad thoughts will come in your mind. There is much less chance if the name of the Lord is continuously there. Then to serve the Lord selflessly, bhavair bhakti bhirevacha lingam. Bhava, devotion, dedication, very important principle in life. And whatever we are doing, it is just a service to the Lord. With this seva bhava, seeing the Lord in everyone, we have to behave towards them. That is the principle. Then sarva samudbhava karana lingam, the principle of God is there everywhere in all creation. Experience that. Experience the perfection of nature. Experience the sense of Godhead which is there in everyone, which is there everywhere. Sahasrani sahasrashoje rudra adhibhumyam teshagam sahasrayojane vadhanvani kattanmasi. Continuously see that there is only Shiva, 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 Shiva everywhere. That is the stage we want to reach. That is the direction in which the Lingashtakam is pointing us. And finally, Paramapadam Paramatmakalingam. Merge and become one with the Supreme. That is the lesson which the Lingashtakam is teaching. That is why, while chanting the Lingashtakam, it is very much preferable that learn it by heart. And while you are chanting, keep only one thing in your mind. Shiva, 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 Shiva. Lord Samba Parameshwara in the middle of your heart, continuously guiding you, uplifting you, nurturing your body, your mind, your intellect, and your soul. That is the thought with which I would like to leave you. I thank you very much for your attention. And my most prayerful offering at the feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Thank you so much. We proceed towards the question answer round. Why is Shiva known as Linga? Why Linga denotes Shiva, whereas like all other gods have picture and no objects of worship like the Linga. So any specific reason for it?
I will answer this question in a slightly different note. Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba himself, in one of his discourses, Bhagavan said the meaning of the word Linga, why we worship Shiva as Linga and not in a physical form. He said that Linga word in Sanskrit, it is derived from two dhatus or two roots. One is liyate, that is to merge, and the other is gamyate, to go or to come, to move. So that object into which we go and merge, that is the meaning of the Shiva Linga. The Shiva Tattva is represented symbolically as a Shiva Linga because it is a neutral symbol, a neutral object, and it represents that into which everyone has to go and merge. Now, to come to the aspect of why Lord Shiva is not worshipped in the temples in the physical form of Parameshwara, even though Parameshwara statues are very well known in many temples, there are statues, both ancient as well as modern. But in the Sanctum Sanctorum, the idol which is worshipped is in the form of a Shiva Linga. This is a question which has been raised many times. There are many divergent views on this. But one particular view is this, which I would like to place here, that Shiva Linga worship is a native practice of the Bharatvarsha. It was being done even before, means even probably during the Vedic or pre-Vedic times, when the actual ancestors who studied the Vedas were still beyond the Hindu Kush mountains, had not yet migrated into the Bharatvarsha. The people of Bharatvarsha were already worshipping a unique symbolic principle of God in the form of Shiva Linga. That practice has remained as it is, showing a supreme being in the form of a Shiva Linga. And at a much later stage in the age of the Puranas, this Shiva Linga was identified with the Lord Samba Parameshwara or Lord Sadashiva. who was worshipped in the Vedic times as Sri Rudra, who is the god of great storms, or who is a force of nature, who is behind all the storms. So the Puranic version of Lord Shiva was identified with the Shiva Linga worship, which was already prevalent at that time. This is the answer which I can give, but there are many views on this, and many of these can be read from various sources. Sai Ram.
Thank you. So, like, the next question is like, how Lingashtakam can be helpful in overcoming fearful and doubtful thought?
Well, the first object of getting rid of fearful and doubtful thoughts is to have faith in God. There are two pillars of faith. One is faith itself, Shraddha, and the other is Saburi, patience. These two things, Shirdi Sai Baba used to propound this a lot to his followers. These two things are very important. Many times we will have fears in our life, many times we will have doubts. The fear arises because we want something to happen and the things are looking like that will not happen that way. That is the origin of fear. So at that point of time, one has to silently pray to God and try to pray to God that let this thing happen this way. The second thing is we associate ourselves with the outcome of whatever is going to happen. Whatever is going to happen, we say it is good for me, bad for me. But if we try to remove the me part out of it, is it good or is it bad? Then you will find that either way is okay, doesn't matter. Only because I want it, that want part, I part which is coming, that is the thing which is coming into the way, and that is why we have those fears. Insecurities, fears, these arise because we do not have the capacity to accept those outcomes which we don't want to happen. So the prayer should not be let this thing happen, let that thing happen. Rather the prayer should be, God, please give me the strength to bear the situation, whatever happens. If it happens this way, happens that way, I am okay with it. Just give me the strength and the patience to bear this. With this prayer, any prayer, means it need not be Lingashtakam, any prayer with this particular thought behind it, definitely the Lord will bless. That is what I personally believe.
Thank you. Thank you. The last slide of the session, that is the Hiranyagarbha Linga, what Swami is holding in his hand, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So can you please like share the significance? I know majority of the audience is aware, but still for the people who are not aware, like if you can throw some light onto the significance of Hiranyagarbha Linga and this photograph also.
Yes, yes, yes. In this photo, now Shivratri for several years, the linga used to materialize automatically, and basically the first about the photograph itself. This photograph is known among many Sai devotees. It is called the healing photograph of Bhagavan. In this context, many people have seen miracles happen, that this photograph is kept with a person who is ailing or who is not well, and they have recovered. Some bad situation is, someone is going through a bad situation and that gets resolved. So this photograph in particular, but in general, the concept of Rudra as a healer is already present in the Vedas itself. But this particular photograph, people have seen many miracles happen. Regarding the Hiranyagarbha Linga itself, Hiranyagarbha in the context of the Vedas is the primordial, what is called in literal sense, primordial egg from which the entire universe has emanated. So this particular Hiranyagarbha Linga is a symbolic of that particular Hiranyagarbha Tattva, that is the Brahma Tattva which is pervading the entire universe. The entire cosmos is contained in this particular thing. Even science talks about there was initially a very small volume and there was a big bang and the whole universe was created. I am not saying that our scriptures say exactly the same thing or we had a Purva Jnana of what science would discover. but all these thoughts are along the same lines. In fact, the Big Bang theory of science is also propounded by a priest, a Catholic priest who also happened to be a scientist. So it is a religious principle which is at work there also. This would be my answer to this question.
Thank you so much. Somebody was asking like if you can like explain the fifth verse again, but with respect to the time constraint.
Mhm.
What I request the viewers is like we'll be sharing our YouTube links in the group. So the fifth verses explanation, yes, you can see it by the YouTube link. Towards the like closing of the session, I thank you, brother Siddharth Kasturi Rangan, for your valuable time and sharing your knowledge with us. Because Lingashtakam, though it is like one of the most commonly chanted mantras of Lord Shiva, but many of us are not aware like what are the words actually meaning to and what does it refers to and all. So thank you so much for the same, sharing your knowledge, and thank you all the audience and the viewers for supporting us towards this program and sharing your questions and suggestions and feedbacks. Thanks once again to all the technical assistance team and the moderators. And yes, Kalyan Samiti for providing us with the digital platforms for conducting these sessions. And yes, in the entire organizing team and the organization, Shri Satya Sai Seva organization, for allowing us to actually conduct these sessions. Thank you so much. We move towards our concluding prayers. Thank you. Sai Ram.
श्रीनारायणतु पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतु सिद्धबुद्धतु स्कन्दविनायक सविता पावकतु सविता पावकतु ब्रह्ममस्तु यह्वशक्तितु येषु पिता प्रभुतु रुद्रविष्णुतु रामकृष्णतु रहिमतावतु रहिमतावतु वासुदेव गोविष्णुरूपतु चिदानन्द हरितु अद्वितीयतु अकालनिर्भय आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु
समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की